How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So glad you're here. Today is all about replacing this water pump. It's going to be a real big chore. Honestly, I've never replaced a water pump myself before, and so this is going to be a learning experience along the way. So let's see if this thing will start. It hasn't wanted to start in the wintertime. I've had to have the block heater in for like 4 hours before it'll even consider starting up. Alright, so I got the truck in here. Now let me just take 30 seconds to show you what I got before I dive into it, because without proper tools, guys, it's just going to make life really hard. So first off, got the water pump. 50 bucks, not a big deal. Then I got myself some coolant concentrate. Now I didn't want to use the 50-50 mix because you're basically just buying water. So 2 gallons of concentrate will make 4 gallons of 50-50 mix with distilled water. So that probably isn't going to be enough. I might need one more jug, but I'll just start with that. And then the kit came with the gasket, and I bought a little bit of sealant. I also got these rental tools here because I need something to hold the water pump pulley in place while I turn off the fan clutch. It's a left-hand thread. Trust me, guys, you're gonna need those tools if you want to do this job yourself, because I promise you, if you just make something yourself and try to wing it, you're not gonna get it off, believe me. So I guess the first step would be to just drain the coolant out of the radiator, take the upper radiator hose off, and get that fan shroud off before I can even get access to that fan clutch. So I've been messing with this for a little while. It seems plugged up. It should be a steadier stream than just a couple drops. I might need to like get a wrench and loosen up that nut that goes into the radiator. All right, here it comes. So I found out why this wouldn't drain. So I have to turn it in to open up the valve. There's 2 ports here. One is partially open and the other one is completely plugged up. So it was time to clean this out. So I had to take a break in between working on this truck. My Labrador Scout got out into the garage somehow, past the door, ran out the garage door, down the street, and started jumping on the neighbor who was trying to get the snow off his truck, ran into his garage, ran up and down the street again. So that was pretty exciting. Okay. Okay, so that's the V-belt. Most of these I'm using a 9/16 and 5/8. Had to use a 10mm for the vacuum pump. Alright, all the belt's got to come off. There's a vacuum pump and the alternator. So this is the first time I've had all these belts off at once. And the alternator sounds good and the AC compressor sounds good. But look at the water pump. That is not supposed to happen. This definitely needs to be replaced. Four fan shroud bolts that are 10mm. Alright guys, so basically how this works is this tool goes over the water pump pulley bolts to hold it in place. And then you grab a 48mm or an 1 7/8 wrench that goes over the fan clutch there, and it's reverse threads. So what had to happen was we had to get a piece of rectangle tubing to go over this wrench and use a bunch of leverage to loosen it up. You can get off, you can take that out. Yeah. This come out. Alright. Now that that fan clutch is off, you can hear how bad this bearing is. Let's see how easy this pulley falls off. Well, there you go, guys. That's what was leaking down at the bottom. Now, if you had a truck with a serpentine belt, you'd probably be done by now. You probably need to take off this heater hose. But with all these V belts on my truck, you have to take off these brackets here. And bucket. All right, nothing came out. Just going real easy. The last thing I want to do is break one of these off. Second bracket. All right, guys, all this work just to get to it. Looks like they're 1/2-inch bolts. So, see if it'll just come off. Yup. Oh. There you go, guys. All right, so I had to transfer this heater hose pipe off the old water pump onto this one. The other one just had a block off plate. So now it's ready to have sealant be applied. And this is just what they sell kind of at the counter at the auto parts store, nothing special. All right, so I put a couple bolts in here, and let me explain what I did off camera, guys. These 2 bolts here, and then the 2 bolts right underneath need to have Permatex sealant. I just got the stuff at the checkout stand at AutoZone. It's good enough. And the reason you need to seal these is because these 2 bolts go through into the timing cover. There's 2 welded nuts on the back of here. I had to look it up on another video. If for some reason there was a gasket failure, you could have oil mixed with your coolant, and that's a bad day. And so you need that sealant just for extra protection to keep it from getting inside your water pump and messing things up. All right, guys, so it's all put back together. Got the radiator hose put back on, and I might replace that. They're only 15 bucks. It might be a worthy investment. But all the belts are tight, fan clutch is back on. Everything went back together pretty smoothly. Just, it was hard to remember where all these bolts go for the bracketry, and having to get the belts in the right place and tighten them back up by hand. It takes a little time, but it was worth it in the end. I'm gonna let that sealant sit for overnight and just cure before I fill the radiator back up with coolant. I lost about 5 gallons. I can do that in the morning, but for now it's done. All right, guys, so it's been about a week since I replaced the water pump, and I'm happy to report there's 0 leaks. The only problem I had was the single hose that comes off the top of the water pump that goes to like the heater core. I just forgot to tighten down that hose clamp. Simple fix. Altogether, it cost me about 100 bucks. The coolant was about 5 gallons I had to put in there, 5 or 6. That cost me about $50 or so, and then the water pump was around $50. So if I had a shop do this, I think it would be around $1,000, give or take. And who knows how quick they could get it done. I did mine in a day, and I learned something along the way. So really happy with how it turned out. The truck even runs better. There's no more bearing noise. There's no more play in the pulley. And so I think my belts are going to stay in place better. I'm guessing that's why my power steering belt fell off a couple weeks ago, is because that pulley just wouldn't allow the belt to get completely tight. So guys, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.